YNR spoilers reveal that Martin Laurent, Tracy and the Journey to Justice, the story surrounding Martin Laurent has been developing dramatically over the past time, and now, the thrilling details are gradually approaching a final battle. With the appearance of Tracy, Chance, Phyllis and Sharon, this story is not only about finding the truth but also about paying for the crimes committed. Martin Laurent has appeared like a ghost throughout the story, skillfully manipulating suspicious situations, leaving a blurry trail that confuses everyone. He is a schemer, intelligent, but because of his calculations he has entered a dangerous game. Martin's life has taken a new turn when he is drawn into a plot to capture Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman. The imprisonment of these two women is not only a criminal act, but also Martin's way of waging a secret war against those he considers his enemies. The price of Martin's crimes is not only the loss of his freedom, but also a series of ruined relationships. Phyllis and Sharon, Genoa City's strong characters, have undergone terrible trials in prison. They are pushed to the limit of their endurance, but this trial opens the door for them to face the person who caused the nightmare in their lives. Tracy and Chance, the truth breakers. Tracy, who has always loved her family and friends, is now not simply a witness but also a key factor in bringing Martin to light. She is the only one who can help uncover the secret behind Martin's actions, and it is Tracy who will face him in a fiery confrontation. Chance, who plays a key role in the investigation of the cases, cannot let Martin get away with it. He and Tracy will find important evidence, including security footage from the hardware store where the dark secrets were recorded. This evidence will be the legal stick that will help bring Martin out of the shadows and bring him to justice. The confrontation between Tracy and Martin will not be just a simple argument. It is a battle of courage, of perseverance in the search for the truth. Tracy will not only have to face the person who captured her friends and family, but also face the betrayal and crimes that Martin himself has sown all this time. Martin Laurent, the confessor and the escape. In a surprising turn of events, Martin may have to face the truth about his actions. At some point when all the events have been clarified, he will have no way back. He will have to confess his crimes to Tracy and Chance. But will Martin's confession have the effect he wants? Or will it just be the end of a long dark path he has chosen for himself? With the security footage in hand, Chance and Tracy have enough evidence to arrest Martin. However, it may not be easy. Martin, with his cunning nature, may not be easily tied up in handcuffs. He may escape, causing everyone to have a headache once again. His departure from the country will be a new breakthrough, but it also means that the story will continue to be complicated. Therefore, the event of Martin being arrested will not be the end, but a new beginning for other thrilling situations. If Martin is handcuffed in this event, it will be a moment of relief for everyone who has suffered under his rule, especially Phyllis and Sharon, who have been living in a nightmare for a long time. Phyllis and Sharon. Liberation and revenge. Phyllis and Sharon, despite having gone through dark moments in prison, will now have the opportunity to face their captors. Revenge is not only a desire but also a release. They deserve a chance to release the anger and hurt that Martin has caused them. Phyllis, with her strong and determined personality, will not hesitate to face Martin. She will have the opportunity to express all the emotions that have been pent up in her heart. Sharon, who has always maintained her patience and intelligence, will not let herself be defeated by the bad guy. Their strength will be the catalyst to put Martin in a situation from which he cannot escape. The final confrontation. Will Martin Laurent live or die? The biggest question now is whether Martin Laurent will pay for what he has done. Will he be able to escape again? Or will he face justice after all the secrets are exposed? With the undeniable evidence, Martin has little chance of hiding. Dramatic stories with villains and strong, unyielding characters. Martin Laurent, also known as Alan Laurent, is one of those terrible villains, who has caused characters like Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman to face extreme fear and suffering. However, after all that has happened, will Phyllis and Sharon have enough strength to face and defeat the man they once victimized? Martin Laurent. The controller and his self-congratulations. Martin is not your average villain. He is someone who sees situations in a completely different way than normal people. It is Martin's antisocial personality disorder that makes him a cunning person who always tries to manipulate others and control situations to satisfy his need for power and control. Throughout the story, Martin not only kidnaps Phyllis and Sharon, but also establishes an ironic truce between the two women. Martin's cleverness in skillfully arranging these conflicts makes him proud and satisfied. He thinks that Sharon and Phyllis should thank him for helping them understand each other better, because it was he who forced them to sit down together and face their differences. Martin, with his distorted view of the world, sees this agreement as a personal success, as if he has created an opportunity for Phyllis and Sharon to mend their relationship. Sharon and Phyllis, the victims no longer controlled. However, the reality is completely different. Phyllis and Sharon, in Martin's eyes, are just pawns in his game. They can do nothing but continue to live torn between fear and hatred for their tormentor. Phyllis, a strong woman who has overcome adversity in her life, now faces a nightmare when she is imprisoned with Sharon in a dangerous situation. Martin's actions have forced her to face the dark emotions she once tried to bury. Sharon, a woman who has always sought peace in life, has also been pushed to the limit of her endurance when she is imprisoned with Phyllis, a person with whom she has had a lot of conflicts. Both of them have gone through one of the most painful experiences of their lives. While imprisoned, they are not only physically threatened but also have to endure terrible mental pressure, deprived of all freedom, and have to live in constant fear. However, in that situation, they also begin to realize that their hatred is no longer meaningful. If they cannot defeat Martin, they can at least defeat themselves by learning to forgive or accept what happened. Phyllis and Sharon confront Martin, unleash the rage. After all the suffering, Phyllis and Sharon will have to face Martin once again, and this time, they will no longer be weak victims. When they face him in prison, will Phyllis and Sharon be able to let go of those dark emotions and face the one who made their lives so horrible? This is not simple. Looking Martin straight in the eye and letting go of the rage may be the only way for them to free themselves from this evil person's obsession. Phyllis, with her fiery and determined personality, will not hesitate to speak up and will not allow Martin to continue to manipulate her life. She will confront him with all her hatred, but also with the strength she has trained over the years. Phyllis will want Martin to understand that although he has succeeded in making her a pawn in his game, she is now completely free from his control. Sharon, with her gentle yet resilient personality, will want to face Martin in her own way. Although she does not have the fierce rage of Phyllis, Sharon will use her calmness and sobriety to make Martin realize that he cannot control her anymore. Sharon, looking straight into Martin's eyes and not letting him subdue her, will be a spiritual victory, helping her overcome the pain of the past and move towards a brighter future. Martin, the manipulator of other people's lives. Martin, an antisocial personality disorder, will find it difficult to accept defeat. When he faces Phyllis and Sharon, he will not only have to face the hatred of the two women but also face himself. Will Martin be able to escape this confrontation once again, or will he have to pay the price for his cruel actions? While Phyllis and Sharon face their enemies, the story also opens up a larger theme of forgiveness and moving on. Can Phyllis and Sharon overcome their hatred and move on with their lives? Or will they be haunted by those terrible events forever? The confrontation between Martin and his victims will not only be a physical battle but also a spiritual one. Phyllis and Sharon will have to find their own strength and take control of their lives again. The end of this story is not just revenge or punishment for Martin, but also liberation for both Phyllis and Sharon. With confessions, tense confrontations, and payback for their crimes, this story will open a new chapter for the two characters, making them not just victims but winners. Whether Martin still exists or not, Phyllis and Sharon will find a way to overcome his ghost and continue their lives, no longer haunted or controlled by the bad guy. The Young and the Restless takes viewers on a story filled with tragedy, crime, and revenge. The story of Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman has brought moments of tension and drama that cannot be missed. One of the most important plot points in recent episodes is when both Phyllis and Sharon are taken hostage together, facing extreme fear and unforgettable pain. Under the manipulation of Martin Laurent, an antisocial personality disorder, both characters are forced to overcome dark moments to find the light in their lives. Martin Laurent, psychological manipulator and shadiness. Martin Laurent, who has a sinful past and a disturbed mind, has been the mastermind in this story. He is not only the kidnapper of Phyllis and Sharon but also a schemer, always knowing how to manipulate others' psychology to achieve his goals. Under his control, Phyllis and Sharon became pawns in his criminal game, living in fear and uncertainty, not knowing when their lives would return to normal. But for Phyllis and Sharon, life would never be the same again. Being imprisoned by Martin was one of the most painful and haunting experiences they had ever faced. As they were deprived of their freedom and forced to live in extremely poor conditions, the accumulated emotions gradually turned into deep hatred for the person who had hurt them. However, looking back, both Phyllis and Sharon realized that, although they did not want to, their interactions and living together in that situation helped them understand each other better, and they even began to find ways to support each other, forming an invisible bond that neither of them could avoid. Phyllis and Sharon both faced the past. As the story progresses, it becomes clear that Phyllis and Sharon cannot ignore the fact that their kidnapper, Martin, is still at large. For Phyllis, the ambiguity of Martin's identity and motives makes it even harder for her to accept the story. The kidnapping is not an easy task to solve. Phyllis not only feels violated, but also feels that the story is not over. Martin is still at large, and that makes her uneasy. Everything seems to be hanging in the balance with no clear ending. The strange riddles, the distorted voices from the invisible calls, have not only left Phyllis and Sharon bewildered, but also left them in a state of mental tension, always wondering if the truth will ever be revealed. The sounds haunt them, keeping them from sleeping peacefully and wondering if Martin could reappear at any time. For Phyllis, this is not just a fight with her enemy, but also a fight with the ghosts of her past, repressed emotions, rage and healing. One of the most important moments in this story is when Phyllis and Sharon have the opportunity to confront Martin after his arrest. Is looking Martin in the eye and unleashing her rage the only way Phyllis can free herself from the pain she has endured? This is not simply revenge, but part of Phyllis's healing process. After all that has happened, Phyllis needs to feel in control of the situation and to be able to release the rage that has been building up for so long. Sharon, with her calm and intelligent personality, will confront Martin in her own way. Sharon may not have the same fierce rage as Phyllis, but she will not let Martin get away with it. Sharon's calm and determination will be a powerful weapon, helping her not only free herself but also help Phyllis overcome her fear. When Martin is arrested, all the pieces of the story will fall into place. The strange phone calls and distorted sounds will finally be decoded, and the person behind it all is Martin Laurent. Martin's arrest will not only be a release for Phyllis and Sharon, but also the first step in closing a haunting chapter in their lives. They will have the opportunity to face Martin, not as victims, but as victors. This is the moment when Phyllis and Sharon can look Martin straight in the eye and let go of all the hatred and pain. This is not just about revenge. Phyllis and Sharon will not only blame Martin for what he did, but also for what he made them become. They would have the opportunity to point out the cruelty of Martin's actions, and also to assert that while he may have controlled them for a time, they were now free from his manipulation. When Martin is caught and exposed, this story does not end with revenge. It also opens a new chapter in the lives of Phyllis and Sharon. This confrontation will help both characters start a new journey, no longer haunted by the events of the past. Martin's arrest is a sign that they can take back their lives and move on. For Phyllis, this is an opportunity for her to feel liberated and stronger than ever. She is no longer Martin's victim but a warrior, has overcome her challenges and can now live her life without being haunted by Martin's ghost. Sharon, with her calm and wisdom, will also feel a sense of liberation and hope. She will be able to continue on her path, no longer bound by painful memories. Both women, despite their horrific experiences, will come to realize that they have become stronger and can face whatever lies ahead. The story of Phyllis, Sharon, and Martin Laurent is not just a battle between good and evil, but also a deep spiritual and emotional struggle. Through each trial, each pain, Phyllis and Sharon learn to face their fears and reclaim their power. Martin may have been their captor, but in the end, Phyllis and Sharon are the ones who win this battle.